For Levis, who like, even with like, oh, there's some question marks, was highly expected to be a top 5 pick, was a favorite for the second overall pick 36 hours ago. Like,
it's crazy.
It's really, really quite something. That was a jaw-dropping moment over the course of this draft.
This is the Ringer NFL Draft Show presented by Heineken Silver. What the hell happened with Will Levis? First, I guess, where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start with him falling? Or do you want to start with all the shots we got of him on that couch with the sister wives, girlfriends, whatever
with many
was going
women
on there?
So I counted
his blood relatives. In theory,
the first 20 picks, it was him with 2 blonde women and then an older blonde woman, which I thought was his mother. However, that his hand was kind of on her thigh for a while. Just saying, don't know what's up with that. Hand was on his mom's thigh. Perhaps I'm just pointing out what we saw and what we commented on in the moment. Several shots, hand on thigh. 2 blondes, we talking sisters, was one a girlfriend, and then later, towards the end of the first round, a woman in a red dress showed up. So maybe that's the girlfriend. There's a lot going on with Levis.
That had to be the girlfriend at the end. It was stunning.
Was
that
she?
was the old. That was the biggest plot. That was a bigger plot twist than Will Levis not being in the first round. Was that? I guess in retrospect, it makes sense that those were the sisters the whole time.
He was also doing that thing where he was pretending not to care that he was dropping. He was singing.
It was
like,
so annoying. I get why they didn't take him.
He was singing Don't Stop Believing. He was like singing along, which is poetic, really, that he's singing Don't Stop Believing. But like you could tell he was really trying to like show the world, like, I'm cool with this. Like wherever I land is fine.
You know how, like, I mean, you guys probably don't, but for me, whenever I go into like a bar, like a party, and I'm like, I don't belong here at all. So I'm like, I'm just going to stand and bob my head because that's how regular people look when they're here. That was every time they cut to Will Levis, he was like, this is a regular way to behave.
You do the white guy overbite.
Yeah, just Will Levis was just bobbing his head. He was like, he's like looking at people, oh, what's up? Like, hey, like saying hi to folks. Like, they don't know you, Will. You're not supposed to. This is the first round of the draft, and apparently you're not supposed to be here. To answer the question, Heifetz, I mean, like, some people talked about maybe Will Levis fall. Like, nobody had this. Like,
out of the first, I was not expecting this whatsoever.
Mean, he was like Craig brought up on FanDuel, he was minus 1,500, which is like implied odds of like over 90% to go in the top 5 picks, and he did not go in the top 31.
This is Donald Trump election all over again.
And like,
you remember that?
It's exactly like that.
No, I'm talking about when all the betting odds had him winning, and then it was like, stop the count.
Anyway. It is, So like.
Not to bring up that.
Very narrow interpretation, but yes, you're right.
No, I'm talking about the odds. Come on, give me a break.
You're saying that Will Levis is Donald Trump.
Okay, so
we get it.
William Donald Trump Levis. I mean, like, when I was asking people, like, how did this happen? They were bringing up personality concerns. So maybe, I don't know, another connection. ESPN, Chris Mortensen was talking about, like, a turf toe problem. He had to miss games this year with a foot injury. And, like, it's weird because whenever people were talking about the foot injury in the pre-draft process, they were like, wow, what a tough guy competing through the foot injury. He was getting shots before games. He was going out there and playing through the pain. And then all of a sudden you get to the end of April and it's like, we can't draft this guy. He's got a foot injury.
What?
Like, I don't buy that the toe injury was a sufficient reason for the fall. I think
that's his agent, right? His agent's just saying that to justify his fall. I
mean, well, Mort's reporting it, and Mort tends to be like Chris Mortensen from ESPN. Mort tends to be really more like teams than agents, in my estimation. It's for me, I think that like if there's anything to detail it to, it's like personality concerns. It's like they didn't like the way
the interviews.
Interviews.
Like Breer were not going well. Yeah,
but it's funny because like Breer was like, hey, like his interviews weren't that great. Some teams don't like him. Also, the Titans are huge fans, and then the Titans at 11 took Peter Skoronski, right? Like. I thought the Patriots were going to take him. From what I understand, the Patriots were only going to take him if they could offload Mack, and they weren't able to offload Mack, so they didn't take a quarterback. The Vikings, I thought, were going to take him, and then the Vikings didn't pass on him for Hooker. They just didn't take a quarterback, which, again, like the Vikings were like so strong, like, the sneaky round 1 quarterback team. We had 3 quarterbacks go top 10, and then no quarterbacks go in the rest of the first round, which is the first time it's happened since 1971. It's been over 50 years since we've had a draft with 3 top 10 quarterbacks. In this case, it was 3 top 5, but 3 top 10 quarterbacks, and then no more quarterbacks in round 1. It is very rare to see quarterbacks get pulled into the top of the draft, and then the gravitational yank of those guys not drag anybody else into round 1. You just, like, in the modern NFL, you do not see this. So for Hooker, who had so much joy from the NFL for so long, and then for Levis, who, like, even with, like, there's some question marks, was highly expected to be a top 5 pick, was a favorite for the second overall pick 36 hours ago.
It's crazy.
It's really, really quite something. That was a jaw-dropping moment over the course of this draft. Flabbergasting.
I just don't get it. Like, for a month now, everyone's thinking he's at least going top 12, and then it's not even close. Like, how are we so incorrect is my question.
Well, the injury, I think, has something to do with it. But, like, also, we talked about this ad nauseum during the draft process. He's going to be a bust. Like, we're worried about his skill set. He got worse this last year. He had like 23 interceptions over the last 2 years.
Yeah, but hindsight is 20/20. You can always backfill the reasoning of why this makes sense. It's in the moment we were like, well, Levis at 2, it actually makes sense for the NFL to like him.
Yeah, I get that. From my point of view, what I'm kind of saying is like I believed some of the hype that the NFL apparently liked this guy, but
like we could talk ourselves into why the NFL might like him,
right?
But we were still skeptical about his actual talent.
And I feel like we hit all of the reasons he's fallen, but we did buy into the idea that the NFL wouldn't care enough to that they would still take him. So I think that's what happened.
I was like, oh, this sort of guy appeals to the NFL, and the NFL was like, we hate him. Which kudos, like take Anthony Richardson over him. That's good. It's just I was surprised.
Yeah.